All right, I am back. Sorry for the little hiatus, but I'm here. I recorded a meditation yesterday, and right as I went to save it, the computer it didn't even die. It just completely shut off. So I do have a meditation coming. I just have to record that again. I don't know what happened there, but that's just one of those things where something like that happens, and I go, okay, that just was not meant to be. Either I said something weird in that meditation, or I didn't. We're just going to chalk it up to wasn't meant to be. Got to do it again. No big deal. You can eliminate a lot of stress if you hold that belief that, things just happen for a reason, and some things don't happen for a reason. And it's just a lot easier to believe that when things go south or whatever. Anyhow, I am so excited to be back again. Sorry for the little hiatus. I'm really just trying to honor my intuition, honor my energy. I've had a lot of transitions this year, and sometimes I just gotta rest and relax. And I've gone through a lot of energetic upgrades, if you will. And when that happens, your body really needs time to acclimate. As you start to raise your frequency and raise your vibration, you are eliminating density from your body, from your physical body, but also your energetic field. And there is a period of integration that has to happen with that. And, our society doesn't account for any of this. Our society is constantly the go, go, go hamster wheel type of mentality. So I have to really fight myself on this, or I've had to really reprogram myself on this so that I give myself permission to relax, rest, receive, integrate whatever I need to do in those moments where I'm not just really inspired, I guess, to put stuff out. And I really try to honor that now. Whereas before, I was completely the opposite. And, this was programming. I was brought up with the idea that, work ethic, putting in hard work, hustling and grinding was of great value. And I really valued myself in doing that. And I know I talk a lot about this on here. I won't go on too much about this, but I just want to give you the reason for why I haven't been on here as consistently. I'm just honoring myself. So I want to tell you that to give you permission to do the same. Don't feel like you've got to force things. If it's not there, it's not there. I am just more and more a firm believer that things can be easy, and they should be, and things should be fun. Is there time and place for discipline? Yes, but honestly, I'm even getting to the point where I want to reframe discipline into a different thing. And I think it's more about finding alignment. And you hear that a lot in the kind of self-help world and spiritual world, that alignment over hustle. And I really do believe that when you are fully aligned with your authentic frequency, meaning your soul, your higher self is speaking through you in whatever you are creating, I don't think you need to force yourself to get up in the morning or have the discipline to show up every day. It's just going to happen because you're in that alignment. And I think one of the easiest ways to discover and become more in alignment with your authenticity and your authentic frequency is to exercise creativity. This is something that I talked about on my social media yesterday. If you want to follow me on there, please do. I'm on Instagram and on TikTok now. Sidebar, TikTok is just a crazy place. But I gotta say, I'm having some fun with it. As long as I'm not just watching 15 and 16-year-old girls with ridiculously overdrawn lip liner that just all look like supermodels. I have a theory. Anyone born after 2000, I'm pretty sure is a little lab baby. They were created in a lab. No one has braces anymore. No one has acne. They all have perfect teeth. They're comedians, they can dance, and they're supermodels. It does not make sense. Someone explain this to me. So, anyways, you can find me on TikTok competing with the 15 and 16-year-olds. But I will say it's a pretty fun app. So I'm on there. I'm on Instagram. I'll link it in the show notes because I do share some tidbits of info pretty regularly. Anyway, so yesterday I was discussing how creativity is just so important, and I believe, or I interpret creativity and art and creative expression as your higher self and your soul speaking through you. So if you're completely new to this journey of bringing in more spirit into your life, and I know I'm talking about that more and more now, it's a huge part of my life. It always has been. Talk about authenticity and aligning with your authentic frequency. You know, I have always been a very spiritual person. I grew up with a very spiritual family. So, you know, talking about this has never been, it's just been a part of my life. But for whatever reason, I didn't bring it into what I was doing. And, you know, that's a huge piece of me that I was leaving out. And I am realizing more and more that was what was creating a real block for me in my creative flow with this work that I'm doing, with teaching and guiding and helping people find their creative flow, among other things, but also moving through stress and getting more back into alignment. I was leaving out a huge piece of what has helped me get to this point and help me on my journey of discovering who I really am, what I really want, and moving more and more away from this societal programming of the work kind of slave mentality and stress and anxiety around that into more of alignment and joy. And that, you know, using tools, I'm not saying that you need to be a spiritual person, by the way, but if you are wanting to experiment more with that, and it, you know, look at spirit broadly. Spirit can be nature. It can be your connection to just something that's a little bit bigger than yourself, to a bigger energetic field. You know, it doesn't have to be a god or spirit guides or whatever. It's just tapping into an energetic field that is a little bit bigger than you. And I like to see it almost more as like unity consciousness, so like a collective consciousness where every soul on this planet is connected to. So not that we need to get into that, but your creative flow, your creative expression, I believe, is an extension of your soul speaking through you. So if you're wanting to bring in more of the spiritual practices into your life and you're not really sure where or how to do that, create. Use your creativity, because I think it's the most authentic way to express your authenticity. So I think the more that you allow yourself time to create, and this could be anything, whatever the first thing that pops into your head, if that's to draw, to paint, to write, to even go on a walk in nature and sing, hum, whatever, something where you're playing with energy. And that could be sports. That could be creating with your hands, creating with your words, something where you're pulling out energy from you and putting it together and playing with it. Whatever that is for you, I think it's the easiest way for you to get in alignment with your authentic frequency. So, and we each have our own specific frequency, and I think it's more and more important for us, especially right now in this time, to get in alignment with that and just reduce the noise that is around you. And believe me, there's a lot of it. You know, you have social media, you have your work, you have your family, you have all these people around you that are influencing you to be and look and behave a certain way that is congruent with what society is doing or whatever it may be. So I think it's so important to quiet the noise around you and put your blinders up to what everyone else is doing so that you can find your own authentic flow. And the more that you do that, what I'm realizing is your frequency just skyrockets. And I know this for myself. I experienced this firsthand this past year, and it is remarkable how different of a person I am when I really understood this. And trust me, I am still very much on this journey. I am still very much reprogramming myself, getting out of this routine and habitual thought patterns that keep me stuck in this old kind of paradigm where I was working for somebody else. And not literally, but catering what I was creating in order to fit a certain model because that's what everybody else was doing. And by the way, this can be applied to any area of life. It's not just work. But for me, it showed up in work. And the more that I have moved away from needing to fit a mold, the more my energetic frequency has skyrocketed. I'm not kidding. I literally have more energy. I have more love flowing through me. I'm just happier overall. So that's why I keep emphasizing this authentic frequency, because it's your true nature. And when you're in alignment with what is true for you, you're in a frequency that can flow with ease. But if you're trying to fit a mold that is not true to you, there's going to be holes in that auric field. There's going to be misalignment, I should say. And your auric field, you can just think of it, that is your energetic field around you. And if you're out of alignment with your own frequency, there's going to be, in one way or another, some type of struggle. Because it's my belief that the universe and your spirit are always trying to get you back into alignment with the truth of who you are. And the more that you're not, the more that you're going to experience misalignment in any area of your life. You know, this isn't just with work. This could be your family, your relationships, money, etc. So the more that you become in alignment with your truth, and again, perfect example of this is me showing up talking about spirituality on here. And, you know, again, that was a huge part of me that I was hiding for whatever reason, because on a subconscious level, I was afraid of what people would think of me. Even though this is a massive part of my being, this is who I am, this is who I grew up as. For me to hide that, of course I'm going to experience massive misalignment in my life. And Jesus, did I? I had to learn some really painful lessons to get to this point where now I'm standing in my truth going, hey, I can still talk about all the same things that I talk about, but hey, by the way, there's also this huge piece that I was neglecting or that I was leaving out. So, and I have already seen, I'll tell you, my reality start to shift and my energetic field start to shift in such an incredible way. I mean, things are just flowing with ease, and I'm allowing myself more and more to just flow with what feels most natural to me. And I think that's another thing that we get backwards in this society, is we're almost taught to go after the things that are like a struggle for us, or that we have to work really hard towards, or that don't come easy or natural to us. But I am becoming more and more of a firm believer that the things that are easy and natural for us are our strengths, and those are what should be amplified and focused on, because those are our natural gifts to the world. And this is why I love tools like human design. Human design is basically astrology on steroids. I might have talked about it on here before, but I love that system because it shows that each person is completely unique. You know, we all have absolutely unique blueprints for not only how we show up in the world, but how we should work in the world. And human design was one of the first things that really started to awaken me to this. By the way, my story, how I operate in this world could be completely different from you. So always just take whatever resonates for you. But the way that the lessons that I'm learning right now are around working with what is most natural for me, resting and relaxing, that happens to be in perfect alignment with my blueprint in human design, which is a projector. And as a projector, my design really only allows me to work a few hours a day, and the rest of the time I should really be studying and learning and honing in on my craft, and then putting in hours to serve the rest of the time. So point being, my design is literally such that I'm supposed to rest and relax so that I can receive my intuition in a bigger way, so that I can guide others and see into others in a bigger way, rather than trying to force work just to force work. And that's just been a massive lesson for me. I was, again, I was raised completely opposite, and no fault, no harm, no foul is literally the way of the world. That you had to put in time, effort, blood, sweat, and tears in order to gain success. And again, I loved that. In tennis, I loved the hard work, and I still do, but it's completely different when it's from a place of pure alignment, inspiration, and joy. And tennis is that for me. That tennis is a huge passion for me. So I can go out there and put in crazy amount of hours and really enjoy the blood, the sweat, and tears. But in other areas of my life, I tried to apply that same type of work ethic that I had for something that I was so passionate about. But you're going to be trying to fit a square peg into a round hole if you're trying to apply that same work ethic to something that is not really natural, easy, or fun for you. And again, I know this goes against what so many people say, and you don't have to take it. You know, if you're like, I'm not buying this, that's totally fine. Again, everyone has a completely unique blueprint, but I will say, what I'm saying right now, I have been hearing for years through various teachers and guides that I've listened to, Abraham Hicks being one of them, more of like a spiritual teaching around going towards the path of least resistance. Going towards what's easy and natural for you is the way. That is how you get into alignment with your soul. And I will say, when I used to hear those things years ago, I didn't buy it. You know, I actually thought it was wrong. I thought, they're not taking account into having really hard work ethic. So I would kind of just discredit that part of those teachings from various teachers, and I didn't buy it. But it's funny, since I've been on this journey and really have allowed myself and given myself permission to apply this and embody it, it's insane how different I feel. Really insane. I am just like so much more in alignment with the truth of who I am, and I'm having more fun. That's what I've realized. And I'm still trying to apply this, by the way, because I continue to get kind of intuitive messages. I get lots of downloads because I've meditated so much. I'm able to receive into my intuition very clearly. And I think that was the whole point of this podcast, by the way. I went on a completely different tangent, but I don't write anything out when I get on here. I just let it kind of flow. So whatever comes out, comes out. So sorry if it's all over the place. But I will say, the more that I have allowed myself to be in stillness, to relax, I'm able to receive that. So your intuition will become heightened as well the more that you become in alignment with your higher self, with your authentic frequency. And I'm realizing, again, more and more, you're not going to receive that by putting in the work or hustling your way into alignment, or, it's not going to just all of a sudden you're going to open yourself up and be able to receive these downloads from your higher self or from spirit if you're forcing it. And that's what I've realized more than anything, that the more that I allowed myself to be in stillness and gave myself permission to operate from a place of ease and flow, my intuition has gone through the roof. I mean, I have like almost full-on psychic abilities now, which I've always been wanting forever since I was a kid. I've always been highly, highly intuitive, but the more that I've really practiced what I'm talking about now, my intuition's gone through the roof, and I'm able to really channel messages for people in my coaching sessions that just come through from their spirit and from their higher self. And it's really opened up the doors to this whole other way of operating where it's just so much easier when you don't have to sit there and, try to force problem solving, and you allow yourself to open up to receive something bigger. Again, if you don't believe in this, that's totally cool. But allowing yourself to relax your mind to receive those messages, that comes from a place of ease and flow and grace. It does not come from a place of, I've got to figure this out right now. So the stillness is a huge component in all of this as well. And the more that you allow yourself time to be still, to be quiet, to still the mind, and that's a practice of concentration. Most people say, I can't meditate. Well, you just can't concentrate. That's all it is. So don't act like you're one of the people on the planet that just can't meditate. You just have not trained yourself to concentrate. And the more that you do that, the easier it gets. It's a skill that has to be trained. So I guess to summarize all of this up, the more that you are able to really practice stillness, give yourself permission to slow down, to rest, relax, the more that you'll be able to get into alignment with your truth. And you'll be able to hear your truth and feel your truth. And you can practice that if stillness and being quiet is just, you can't go there quite yet. Exercise your creativity. Allow yourself to completely free flow creativity through you. And that might be your spiritual practice, by the way. If you're not a spiritual person, creating, that might be your church, I guess, if you will. Spirituality isn't religious. But if it is, that's great, if that works for you. But it's really just getting in tune with yourself and, again, quieting the noise around you so that you're not influenced by others. And I think that's probably the biggest point that I want to make, that you will gain so much power back the more that you get in alignment with the truth of who you are. And that's what my entire journey has been, and what the point that I'm at right now is realizing how much power I've gained back. My intuitive powers, my energetic powers. I've been practicing more energy healing, and it's really insane. I mean, I have so much energy now running through my chakras. Literally every one of my chakras I'll feel kind of firing off at any point, including my hand chakras. And your chakras are just little energy vortexes, if you will, or wheels of energy that are in alignment in your body. We have tons of them, but you only usually see the 7 that go along your spine. Anyhow, the more that I have really practiced getting into alignment, the more that I have felt my energy literally raise in my body. So this whole idea about raising your frequency and raising your vibration, it's literal. You are literally raising the energetic frequency of your body. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I have actual more energy to work with during the day, but I'm not forcing it. I'm not trying to get there. I'm just allowing it to happen. And I think that's so important for us to get into this receiving mode. We are so conditioned to put out work, to exercise, to be in this state of gotta do, rather than understanding that there is a bigger power here. There is a bigger, and again, I'm not talking about a God unless that's what you want to label it. I'm more talking about a bigger energetic frequency that you can tap into and pull into your body the more that you get in alignment with your authentic frequency. And when you do that, things start to flow very easily for you. The universe kind of puts you in alignment with different people, different situations, different projects that are in alignment with your authenticity. And when that happens, it's going to be something that feels really good. And that's the biggest probably takeaway from all of this. You're in alignment when you feel good, period. You're not in alignment when you don't feel good, period. Not to say that you're not going to feel certain emotions or not have to move through certain emotions, but as you start to raise your energetic frequency, yes, you will have to clear away certain densities, certain emotions, certain blocks that might have been blocking you from that authenticity. And that, that's a whole other topic and podcast episode. But the more that you get more and more in alignment with your truth, the better it feels. Your body feels better. You start to heal faster. You think more clearly. And you reduce the chatter and the distractions around you because you know who you are and what you want. And that shit just feels good. And, this is very true for anyone with any craft, including athletes. And sports are absolutely a craft where you want to be in flow. And you want it to flow out of you with ease when it comes to competition time. And again, I know there's a whole balance here of hard work and discipline, but like I said in the beginning, that was never an issue for me with tennis because it was such a hardcore passion of mine. And if you're really trying to force yourself every day to get up and get to that thing, unless you're just burning for that goal and you know that you really want it, it's going to be really hard to get there anyway if it's misaligned and it's not really what speaks to you or what really is coming out of you from a place of authenticity. So, this applies to sports in a very, very big way. And you'll notice that as you become more in alignment with your authenticity and your authentic frequency, what flows out of you is going to become easier. It's just going to flow out of you easier. Things will just click more easily. Not to say that there aren't lessons to be learned and milestones to get to, there's always going to be kind of a back and forth where I like to think of Earth as like a school. We're 100% here to learn. And, sometimes lessons are very painful, but it's how we grow. It's how we get to the next level in anything that we do. So not to say that everything is easy and with grace and with flow and fun. There is some learning and some integrating, but it should not always be a place of this has to be a struggle. This has to be hard work. I've got to put it in today or I'm not going to get there. Again, this is my belief. Take what you want from this, leave what doesn't work for you. And you might over time realize that this is more and more true for you. Like I said, I used to hear people say the things that I'm saying right now and go, bullshit, that's not true. But now I've gotten to this place where it has become very true for me, the more that I've become in alignment with my truth. So anyways, I leave you with this. In this time during, before the new year, rather than trying to force yourself into figuring out what this next year, next decade needs to look like and think that you need to have all your goals laid out and the whole plan figured out, I am going to take the approach of just allowing myself to slow down. It is the winter time after all. It is a time of hibernation. It's not really a time of forcing work anyway. We should be more in alignment with the seasons, I think. So I say use this time to rest, relax, integrate the lessons that were already learned from this past year and allow yourself to create. Use this time to exercise your creativity with things that are going to bring you joy and are going to be really fun for you. Maybe it's creating music, creating art, whatever it is for you. Do something that's going to bring you some joy and just rest and relax and chill out and allow yourself to really enjoy the holidays and not need to force yourself to figure all of next year out and all of this next decade. There's a lot of that out there, the new year, new me type of thing. I will say, if it's from a place of inspiration and joy and you're excited to do it, absolutely. That's always your guiding post. If it feels good in your body, not just your mind, but it feels good in your body, it's like a visceral yes, that is always a sure sign that it is in alignment for you and it is your truth. So tap into your body, use meditations to help you get more comfortable with doing that, and just give yourself permission to do what feels good for you, not for everybody else. All right, I hope that wasn't too all over the place, but I hope that you got something out of that. Let me know if so. Feel free to leave a review or a comment. I don't know if you can do that on here, but you get the idea. And as always, reach out to me if you ever need any support. I'm here to help. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok if you dare. I gotta say, I put some weird things on TikTok, but it's fun. It's authentic. But I hope that you guys have a wonderful holiday season. I'll probably be on here again before then. But enjoy it. Have fun. Rest. Relax. Be easy. Let things be easy. Let things flow. All right. Talk to y'all later.